What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Are the streets dead? To me, that is a resounding yes. Take it from me, the person who has done over 5 years in prison. I may not look like it, I may look like a square, but that's on purpose. I no longer want to be outside doing dirt and run around with people who don't have my best interests at heart. I see in the rap industry that a lot of the old artists that used to talk about crime and selling drugs and doing drugs, a lot of those guys have now owned businesses, own real estate, and their children are going to college. Some of them have went to jail, and a lot of the younger kids who follow behind them, they're actually getting killed in the street at an alarming rate. This is something I want to talk about because this is something that we really need to overcome as a community, where being a criminal and shooting your gun and being the hardest person is no longer a good strategy in life. It doesn't get us anywhere. It's unfortunate that it took 30 years for us to get to this point where we're starting to see that rappers are pushing back on being a gangster and being like that shouldn't be the cool thing to do anymore. I seen it with my own eyes. I seen the young boy, 18 years old, coming into the system. He did something on the street. Someone got killed. They give him 50 years. Football numbers. This kid being 18 years old, he comes into jail young and dumb. He's thinking it's a game. Meets up with some people that he probably knows, and so part of his little crew. He's in a gang, and he doesn't understand that at 18 years old, 50 years means you may never come home. And when you do, a lot of your life is going to be over. It's going to be gone. You can't get it back. And I seen some of those guys in there that they got even more time. Life plus 20 or 50 or something like that because of a mistake they made when they were in their 20s. And some of those guys have been locked up since the 80s. And, you know, at the time, they're looking at someone like myself, I'm just passing through. And a lot of these kids, they don't understand how that works. Is, yeah, you could be outside and you think you're tough, you think you're a gangster, you want to be outside defending your gang, defending your area, fighting for the people beside you. But when you get that sentence, when that gavel drops, it's just you. You might have co-defendants or whatever, but them co-defendants, they're fighting for their own life. Most of the time, most people have a survival instinct. They want to survive. And it could be your best friend, whatever. When they come to him and ask what he wants to do, guilty, not guilty, plea deal, whatever, and he's facing possibly never coming home, or you risk his friendship with you or the street or whatever, man, most people are going to choose themselves every time. If you know somebody who is young and coming up and wants to be outside, send them this video so they can see, because this is what I look like now at 40 years old. But when I was 20, you know, I was young and dumb, and I didn't understand the consequences of my actions. I didn't understand that 5 minutes, that's all it takes is 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes to do whatever you're going to do. It only takes 5 minutes just to come up with, just to decide that you're going to do the thing. Boom. All right, whatever, we're going to do this. And then go, boom, just like that. The rest of it is downhill, because once it's done, it's done. Once you rob whoever you're going to rob, or kill whoever you're going to kill, whatever you're going to do, at that point, the deed is done. And the police are going to find you. There's a camera on every street corner, street light. The bullets, they can triangulate any bullets fired. They can figure out exactly where you are. Social media, it makes the world smaller, so everyone knows who you are. Everyone's can put pieces together in a heartbeat. Because as big as someone might think they are, their circles are actually pretty small. In most crimes, especially super violent crimes, a lot of those are committed by people who know the person personally. And so it's not hard for them to put the pieces together. And it's never worth whatever you was going to get for doing whatever you was going to do. It's never enough money. Absolutely not enough money to make it worth it to go spend your life in prison. It's never, if it was a girl or a friend or something like that, some type of betrayal, it's never worth it, because once you get over it, you won't even be thinking about that person. In 2 years, you won't even be thinking about that person. You know what I mean? If it's respect, which a lot of times young men are getting killed because of respect, because of a lack of respect. Someone disrespected someone said something, someone hit somebody, stepped on some shoes, whatever it is, and it's a pride there that you feel like you got to defend. And I'm gonna tell you, it's never worth it, because with a little argument, if you could have just let it roll off your shoulder, if you could just, walk away from the situation, just say, hey, I know what I could do. I trust me, I know what I'm capable of. But because of where I'm trying to go, and because of the people that I love, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take it there. If you can do that in the moment, that's worth everything. Because when it's all gone and they shut that door, you're not getting it back out on the other side. And even if it's something smaller, say it's not something like someone gets killed or something like that, say it's something smaller like a robbery or whatever it is. Point is that even then, whatever you was gonna get for a little robbery, you take somebody's money or whatever the case is, it's never worth it, because you wouldn't have traded the same amount of money for the time that you have to give up. I warn everybody that is outside right now that thinks that being a criminal and doing dirt out in the street is cool, whether it's selling drugs or doing drugs or committing some kind of violence. I warn you, they are looking for reasons to lock people up, especially right now during this administration. They're looking for reasons to put the National Guard on the ground, or to put ICE out on the ground. And you'd have to be a dummy to put yourself in that position to where you're at risk of getting your life taken away. That time that is precious. And when you're sitting there wasting away inside of a jail cell, it's never worth it. And so let's just get it established. Are the streets dead? If you are still out there at this point, knowing everything we know about everything, We know. If everything I just said, I'm sure everyone already pretty much has an understanding that prison isn't good, death isn't good, people being maimed and harmed isn't good. So if you're still running around with a handgun and you're not out there hunting, or you're not part of military or police and law enforcement, and you're still running around the streets pointing at people, shooting at people, you are a lame. If you are still running around and you feel like you need to put drugs in the street and you can't hold down a job, you don't have enough work ethic to go and support your family through a job, or use your brain power to start a business, or whatever means you can to do something different that is legal and positive, man, you're lame. That's just what it is at this point. And you could look at me and say, well, look at you, right? That's fine. But I'm 20 years removed from being in any type of jail cell or any type of, issues with law enforcement. I don't have to worry about nobody looking over my back. And I can say that I've had a transformation from being at rock bottom, whether it was, being young and dumb and sitting on the step with, drinking, and not doing anything with my life, or whether it was inside of a jail cell sitting there and coming home to square zero and working my way up to being successful and feeling good about where I am in my life and my accomplishments. I'll take that. I'll take that any day versus where I was. And you could be as smart as you want to be. You could be the smartest man on the planet. But if you're in that box, you ain't that smart. If you still got to look over your shoulder, you're not that smart. And so, again, if you're watching this and you know somebody who needs to hear this, send us the video. If you want, you can send me an email at talkwithbjh@gmail.com and discuss it with me. And I'll tell whoever needs to hear it myself. But yes, the streets are dead. And shout out to the guy who came out with the whole quarter zip thing, and is getting into IT and everything, and graduated college and all that. I love that movement, the quarter zip movement, the trying to uplift the community and be a positive influence on the community. I love that, and keep up the good work, and we should push more of that in our community. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.